Good morning from the Kiev Cyber Arena. It is finals day at Starladder ImbaTV Season 5, the LAN finals here from Kiev. At stake, $300,000, and more importantly, those sweet, juicy DPC points, 450 DPC points to the team that wins here today, catapulting potentially several of these squads into the thick of that TI top 8 race. The clock is ticking. We're going to recap really quickly the brackets for you, get you caught up on the action from the first 3 days of our event, starting with Group A on Thursday. Here you're going to see our semifinal 4 teams that have earned their way through. Group A on Thursday, our opening series of the tournament, VGJ.Thunder looked shaky against Fly to Moon in Game 1. That 5th pick Doom not working out. They found their form in Games 2 and 3, moved on. Optic, meanwhile, a little setback in Game 2 against Kingwood. Lanes looked shaky. They found their form as CCNC delivered on his signature Lena in Game 3. And in the nightcap, a surprising result as Optic, behind a 5th pick Broodmother in Game 1 and some shaky laning performance from Freeze on a TA versus Puck matchup in Lane 2, Optic disposed of VGJ.Thunder 2-0, 48 minutes total in those 2 games. And then yesterday in our opening series, Fly to Moon do prevail in a tight game against Kingwood, only to fall to VGJ.Thunder in the 2nd series of the day in a surprising world swap for VGJ.Thunder that we'll talk about on the panel here this morning. Meanwhile, in Group B, starting action on Friday, Vega Squadron, the surprising last-minute replacement CIS team. They had not played for 2 weeks leading up to this event. They take care of business against SG Esports and Navi and Fnatic. Fnatic gets some revenge for that series in Indonesia. 2-1 in 3 incredibly long games, over 3 hours of total Dota 2 action, and another surprise in the nightcap as Vega make quick work of Fnatic behind some amazing play from their young 4-position player Zayats. And then yesterday, SG Esports falls in our 2nd series of the day, 2-0 to Navi. 2 very quick games there. The South American squad looking a little bit overwhelmed with their coach Kat standing in at the support position. And in the nightcap, Fnatic's Summon Strat in Game 3 behind the Visage Lone Druid Beastmaster cores prevails against Navi to send them into the semifinals in our 2nd series of today. Now, looking ahead to today's matches, we do have 2 best-of-3s and a best-of-5 grand finals on tap. We're going to start with VGJ.Thunder against Vega Squadron here this morning, Optic Gaming against Fnatic in the other semifinal to come, and the winners will face off in the best-of-5 for that lion's share of $300,000. Let's get you over to our panel, start talking about some of the action today. I've got Odie Pixel here, a rare treat, joining us. He's taking a little break from his usual spot in the caster seat. And once again, my friend Lacoste, the man with the memes. Guys, let's start open-ended, big picture. Just give me 1 or 2 things. Can be anything. Player, team, hero, even an individual play. What's impressed you about the tournament so far?
I love the tournament because it gives more to the tier 1.5, tier 2 teams to shine. That this is what minors should like, in my opinion. They should have a share of the DPC points. You can see the good players rising. You mentioned Zayats. He is really individually high-skilled player, and I think if Vega does not qualify into the top 8, some of the teams might try to actually snatch him. He just shines. I love the way he plays, always so aggressive on the Chen, on the Earth Spirit. He plays mean Dark Willow as well.
Yeah. 100% agreed.
No, I think sort of going on what Lacoste was saying again, for me, this tournament has just been a great ground for teams like Vega Squadron. Right. The fact that they've turned up, and this is a team that we know that they've been doing well sort of in the region. You know, time and time again, Vega Squadron always making it to like the finals, the CIS qualifiers, and by all means they have made it to some of the bigger events. I believe it was DAC, right, that they did turn up to. But of course, DAC and Major, you've got all the top teams. Very sort of hard for Vega Squadron to sort of break out and really show what they're capable of at a land like that. But here, we're seeing them turn up. You know, they're touring teams like Fnatic, sure. Fnatic, they're playing with the coach, but still, I think you can't really. It doesn't really take away from how well Vega Squadron are actually playing here. So teams like that, I think it's also a great land to see what a team like Optic's going to be able to achieve overall. You know, this is a team that's turned up, and you can guarantee that Optic have turned up, and they're like, we should win this land. You know, with this lineup, with these players, we should win. And obviously, at the moment, they're on the perfect track to do so. Maybe looking a little shaky in some games. but it's for a team that there's sort of been a lot of questions about before, you know, where they've sort of maybe underperformed at some lands. This is a land where it's very much a make or break. It feels like, at least, you know, you know that if Optic doesn't come top, they're not going to be happy with themselves at all here.
No, I think that's a really good point with Optic. You talk about that squad, a lot of expectations when that squad formed. Of course, PPD returning to the captain's chair for the first time since EG, and this is the first DPC points that they've earned as a squad. This is something a lot of people have been waiting for, really. And as to Lacoste points, you know, a lot of the debate with the DPC system is the point distributions between majors and minors. But when you look at it, 150 points per player, because the top 3 counts, that equates to 450 team points for winning a minor. That's halfway between 3rd and 4th place at a major. So there is, when you look at how many teams are going to be at these last few majors that are really already effectively in, right? We don't know where that 8th place line is going to lie. A 1st place finish at an event like this could be really meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, as you say, it's that 8th, 9th area that's going to be the real sort of kicker when it comes to right before TI. You don't want to be that team in 9th place in the DPC like that. That is going to hurt so much. And absolutely, these sort of points from the minors are going to be sort of the tipping scale in terms of where you come if you're in that top 8 or if you're just outside of it. Because, I mean, if you come 9th in DPC, do you sort of say, I imagine if you're 9th, you're probably going to stay together as a team because you're going to feel confident in the qualifier. Sure, you didn't make it in the top 8. Yeah. And I know we've been saying that if you don't get in the top 8, we're going to see a lot of roster shuffling for those qualifiers. But I don't know. Surely if you're 9th, you're like, well, we're going to be able to beat the other teams that are shuffling around at least.
The thing is, you would think that, but then when you take a look at the names that are going to be available, when you take a look at, we don't know if OG's going to stay together. There are going to be some marquee names available. I think the roster chaos right before TI is going to be crazy.
We're going to see a lot of roster changes for those teams that do not get into the top 8. And it's going to be really mess. The organizations are going to try to get the hands on the best players, and I think that they are already scouting for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And as we've seen already, you guys have been talking about, obviously, we are going over to South America. I think we're going to see a lot more region swaps as well. You know, at that point, there's, you know, when it comes to choosing a team for, I say for most players, probably the region doesn't matter. When it comes to winning TI, they're more than happy to sort of get up and move to whatever part of the world to make sure that they're in the best possible position to get a good standing at getting to TI.
And it matters though for the region, because when you look at SEA a couple of years ago, how quickly those teams like MVP, Phoenix, and Fnatic were able to improve. When you got the international players coming over, the international coaches bringing in the new ideas to that scene, I think the same thing could easily happen in South America with a player like we joining. Like people don't realize how good HFN is. I think
HFN, Tao, and King RD, they've been playing together for sometimes. They just need maybe a different approach. They are no doubt one of the top skilled players in the world. They just, I think, need the good shot caller.
All right, can't wait to see it. So the other thing that we should mention here, sticking with the general theme, we did have a patch again on Thursday night, right after the final games of the day ended, and we had yet another little mini adjustment on Friday night. Do you think, Lacoste, that we've seen the impact of these changes in this tournament?
I think the games will last a little bit longer because teams will not feel confident enough to siege the high ground because you get less gold from the towers, and it's going to be harder. The barracks have more HP, so you can't... I mean, 300 is actually a lot of HP because sometimes you barely can kill melee barracks and go back. So there's the comeback point. Like, you want to kill them, but enemy team just spawned, and that's a huge thing.
All right, let's move on and start talking about our first matchup of the day today. VGJ.Thunder against Vega Squadron. Let's start with the Chinese squad. Lacoste, you were in the shuttle with the team and with ROTK after their 2-0 loss to Optic on Thursday night, and particularly after that final game. Tell us what that was like.
Yeah, he was sitting beside me and Yang were sitting on the on the one side.
Right
I was in the middle of the fight.
God.
He was talking to Yang a lot. he did not stop talking for half an hour. Like he was going nuts.
Did he? Was it? What was sort of? Was he happy or?
Yeah,
he was over the moon.
He was not happy, especially the matchup that they had, TA against the puck. That's the few words I could understand. And man, I mean, ROTK doesn't look too happy anyways, even if they win 2-0 in 20 minutes. But this was something else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a coach, he should be the one who tries to be the calmest one, try to calm you down, be that voice of a reason.
ROTK's role is unique, right? He's not only very vocal and animated as a coach, just as he was as a player, but he's also the only coach for a major team that handles the drafting exclusively. You can see him talking early game strategy. Now, I bring that up, by the way, Owen, because you cast that series yesterday, and there was a bit of a surprising move.
Yeah, with Sylar and
Freeze, known for his Lina in the Chinese scene, and Sylar, one of the best safe lane carriers we've seen in the game, they role swapped. You had Sylar in only his second career appearance on Lina, playing the mid position in game 1. Tell me how that series looked.
I mean, it didn't do too bad at all. I mean, it's sort of the questions were asked, how's he going to be able to do this in lane? And you say it's just not a hero that we used to see him on, but he held his own pretty well. I believe he was against, I think he was against his Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
So it was already a matchup where the Lina's sort of going to be able to push the wave out and stuff. Like, you're going to be able to get CS. But there's always the danger of, is he going to get crushed by this? I can't remember who exactly he was playing against.
They had an Elder
it was Flight to
Titan,
Moon, he was playing against Iceberg's Shadow
Iceberg Shadow.
So that's pretty scary, you know. That's Iceberg Shadow Fiend. This is one of Iceberg's best, but he did all right. Yeah, well, I mean, all right, it's a bit of an understatement.
He did great. I don't know.
I mean, but he came back into it, and it worked out. Having Freeze sort of on the gyro. Freeze was, if I seem to remember, it was a bit of a slow start overall for VGJ.
And then he gets the rapier, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Freeze, he sort of is able to sort of slowly build up throughout the game. His farm was very stable, and I think it was just very exciting to see that they have this sort of versatility, a bit of a play that people didn't really kind of expect to see coming out of them with this role swap, and then subsequently the game after. They sort of changed it back up again. You know, you've got Sylar playing I believe it's the Medusa to the middle lane,
which again is a look that they've run a lot, and it's generally Freeze on the Medusa.
Sure.
Right.
So I think overall the fact that they can do it, it just looks so much better as well. Because VGJ.Thunder, they came into this tournament, and obviously off the back of that series we were just talking about against Optic, they didn't look 100%. Like for me, when I was looking at VGJ.Thunder, I was looking at the teams that were coming here. I expected a lot more from the start from VGJ.Thunder. Sure, they haven't had amazing showings at some of the major lands, but they've always been able to sort of step up to some of the best teams in the world and be able to give it a bit of a shot. But they look really shaky for me at the start. But the series yesterday showed that they've sort of managed to figure it back out. They're back on track. But I mean, overall, I do sort of worry about them against Vega Squadron, because I think for me, Vega has sort of surprised a lot of people that didn't necessarily expect to see such sort of impressive performances, especially from some of their individual players coming into this lap.
Yeah, so Lacoste, as a former professional player yourself, how do you look at these kinds of role swaps, particularly middle of a tournament? Is it kind of a sign of bad things, or is it just a team that needs a new look to rejuvenate itself?
I'm not sure if that's going to be permanent, even if they want to swap it and you have a player whose pretty much signature hero is Lina, they should just stick to giving him Lina. That's just my opinion. But he also shined on that gyrocopter. He was at one point godlike. It's good if you have versatile players. You can see it in the team Liquid. They love to swap. Pretty much every player can play at any lane. So I think at this point where Dota is right now, you need to be as versatile. You can't just be that safe laner. You need to be able to adjust to another lane, play the off lane, even in 1v1 scenario.
I guess my own way of looking at it is if there is a coach in Dota who would effectively bench a player, it's ROTK, right? And I think that there's a good possibility that move might have been sending a signal to his young mid-player Freeze that, hey, you need to play a little better, we're going to swap you up, and maybe a temporary thing, we'll see.
Yeah, I think some of it might have well just been down to respect to Iceberg in that middle lane. I mean, I think we've heard, I can't remember who said, but some of the other CIS sides, they sort of, when they're playing against Iceberg, the mid sort of wants to dodge. He doesn't want to play it. So maybe it was Freeze, you know, saying, or as you say, maybe ROTK looking at Freeze saying it's more important that you have sorry, we can guarantee you a good game, so we'll put you on the safe lanes. So I sort of wonder if that was something that came into play because it was against Iceberg, and because mechanically he's a very strong player, Iceberg. We did see that. Obviously, in terms of the team play and some of sort of late game decision making, it's not quite there. But I think it's understandable why some teams would maybe look at, not just Iceberg, of course, but certain very mechanically strong mid laners and say, we want to change our roles up against it.
So VGJ able to get past the CIS squad in Fly to Moon. In fact, both of their series wins are against that team in this tournament. They're going to face another one today, though, in Vega Squadron. And this is a team that not much was expected from them, I'd argue, coming in. Of course, Sioma, the veteran Ukrainian player, presence at the support position in this region for many years. Undershock, a player that actually does have a history in the organization. He played with Vega for just around 4 months. I believe it was in 2014, 2015 when Slayer first joined. But otherwise, these 3 remaining players, particularly the 4-position Zayats, are pretty much unknown, and they really shone in their first opportunity on this stage on Friday.
Yeah, most of the CIS teams, Tier 2 CIS teams, are stack of pretty known players who played for many organizations. It's just kind of a shuffle all the time, who's going to play with who. They just need not to fight with each other. That's how Tier 2 CIS scene is. But this team, they don't have these big names. You have Sioma, who played for Vega for quite some time, and Undershock is known, but the rest of the guys, they are pretty much coming out of nowhere. Yes, you know them from public games, but now you can now they can show their strength, like what they're made of, especially Zayat's guy.
Oh yeah, I think Zayat is. We saw it. I think he's played a good sort of variety of heroes as well. In that
the Treant, though, especially, man.
The Treant, I was very impressed. I think the first game we saw him on was his Earth Spirit. I think it was the game that they actually lost, but he had a lot of impact very early on. It looked very good, sort of his read on the map and the movements of the enemy. So no, I was very impressed with sort of Zayats, and I remember his Chen game as well.
Yeah,
looked very, very strong the other day.
Along with Blizzy on the core Night Stalker in both the games in that series, and Palantimos, I think, has really improved his decision making on these tempo carries. You see him on the Troll and the Terrorblade there in the initial series of the tournament.
I mean, they're playing really fast. Considering, let's say, VGJ.Thunder, they're not the team that plays fast, so they will have to adapt. Same goes for Flight to the Moon. They picked a lot of early aggression heroes, and they put a lot of pressure on VGJ, and they could not come back that easily. That game where they were like 10,000 network behind, the good Witch Doctor Cask from DDC managed to come back into the game, couple of stacks for a Gyro, but it feels like VGJ.Thunder is not the team that knows how to come back when they're in a bad spot. That I think that's the bad spot for this team.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up with you, as we mentioned, kind of the unique role of ROTK as the coach with Vega Squadron. This is Vega, I'm sorry, with VGJ.Thunder. Vega Squadron is arguably the other team that has a little bit of an unusual presence in the coaching role. Kipsel is their coach. She, of course, was with Fnatic for their top 4 finish at TI6, and she was actually the one, I spoke with her quite a bit. The organization placed quite a bit of trust in her hands. She was the one that went out and identified Blizzy and Palantimos from their pub profiles, watched some of their match replays, interviewed them, and brought them into the squad. Do you think that this is something, Lacoste, you're kind of more on the old school here, I know, but know many of the players. Do you think this is something that we're going to see more organizations try out?
Definitely. I think maybe an organization should have one person who scouts for the players, see who's good. I mean, you can check the leaderboards, but you can always find good players in top 1,000, definitely. Like you have position 5 players who only play that, so they can't climb that easy as when you play, let's say, hard carry or a mid. So something that a couple of organizations can look into. Just have the scouter, as we have in other sports, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely huge sort of untapped potential from some of the high skill players on leaderboard. I know people always say, you know, playing it, even if you're like top 10, it's not the same as competitive play. But I think there's definitely got to be potential in some of those players, because we've seen it in the past. You know, players have been brought in outside of the scene, which is, for a long time, it felt like it was very hard to do, because understandably, Dota is mainly sort of a player-led the teams are very player-led. You know,
Yes.
if the players want to play with a player, they're going to play with them. They're going to play with their guys they've been playing with for 5 years, 6 years, who've been in the scene since the start of Dota 2. So for a team to decide we're going to play with this new guy from top of the leaderboards, it's a very sort of different thing that we're starting to see become more popular.
So it is time to raise the curtain here on the final day of play from this Kiev Cyber Arena as our teams are entering the stadium. VGJ.Thunder taking the stage here, led by their offlaner Yang out in front. The 27-year-old veteran from Macau, DDC. He is, if VGJ.Thunder win today, he will pass Dendy for 15th on the all-time career wins record. He already has 151 career wins at Valve events. That is the most all-time in front of Kuroki's 144.
That's pretty insane. That's, I mean, obviously everyone knows DDC, but to sort of think we're in that top spot,
well, when you say veteran of Dota, DDC is one of the few that comes to my mind right away.
And here is Vega. Wow, that's a young squad. You can see, I love the fact that during one of the post-game interviews the other night, I believe it was Blizzy who was interviewed, the chat was spamming the Jimmy of Dota, the Jimmy of CIS.
The Jimmy of Dota, I was going to say, there's only one Jimmy of Dota.
Stay in the trees. No, this is a great young squad with a lot of potential. They've improved their decision-making tremendously here. Zayats on the far right there has shown, I think, as much promise. He's my player of the tournament so far.
Yeah, as I mentioned during the interview, Blizzy, he looked so confident. Most of the players, he looks charismatic, and they feel confident about playing with each other. You can actually feel it.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. That's something, no nerves in that team when you see him walking on stage. You know, there's got to be a little bit of butterflies behind the scenes, but they look very confident walking out there. All right, well, we're getting set up, guys. We're moments away here from the beginning of our drafts. The coaches are going to be on stage formulating those last-minute strategies as we look ahead to the drafts. Any key heroes you guys are looking for?
Oh, I mean, the classic is the mid Jakiro. You know, is this going to come through? Our Vega Squadron going to see an opportunity to do that? I think the Jakiro and the Treant, as we've been talking about, for at least Vega Squadron, they're the two heroes in terms of sort of the slightly gimmicky pick, the sort of picks that VGJ.Thunder might not be that used to playing against, that Vega Squadron could use to their strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a reason why SG banned out Jakiro. I think in all 3 games because they did a research. Also, Night Stalker is going to be their hero, and I think Treant will be banned out by VGJ.Thunder. He is the hero that you can't really make a go. If he has, let's say, level 2, level 3 armor, you really need to bring more heroes to actually get a kill. And then if another hero is missing from a lane, then it's kind of obvious, so you can react to the gank. Here we can see Kips.
Yep. The coach for Vega Squadron, bringing her over to the region.
They didn't have on the first day of play, right?
Yeah,
so,
true. She
so
joined
this is a bit of an extra bonus now, surely, for
well,
Vega
if
Squadron.
they lose
right
now,
time to get the pizza for Kips.
Oh boy.
We'll see.
Well, over on the side of VGJ.Thunder, I think you have to look at the Omni Knight. If you look at since 7.08, they are 14-4 with Yang on Omni Knight, only 32-30 with him on all other heroes.
We can see Sylar
straight out off the back of that stat. Vega Squadron like
preparing himself. Couple of tissues.
He is famous. He plays with tissue paper on his mouse. He has it like on the side of his mouse. He's the only player I've seen that does that.
It's quite the art, it looks to be. Very
I'm not sure about the grip when you have it on.
I mean, that's what I wonder about, isn't it? You feel like the mouse would sort of slide around with the tissues on it. I guess.
I don't know.
Maybe
it's sweaty hands.
I don't know. I mean, I believe it is. Yeah, it's because of the sweat. Yeah.
I don't know. When I coached Complexity, a couple of the players played with these. I'd never heard of them before. The mouse bungees. These little things that they keep your mouse cord elevated.
Oh, we saw that. I think was it Semalos or no one? Someone had a little mouse bungee. Yeah.
I put my mouse cable under my monitor.
Under the monitor?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it stays. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm from a family of electricians. They're all cringing when they hear you say
I
that.
mean, come on, do you guys not use wireless? You know, isn't that the trend now in 2018? Oh, yeah, that's what Bulldog uses, isn't it? You know.
Oh, I'm sure. There you go.
All
the
about
Dark
the wireless
Willow
side.
coming out, and of the two recently introduced heroes to Captain's Mode, Willow has looked absolutely unbeatable. Pangolier has really struggled. 7 and 19 so far in his pro appearances this patch. I know Lacoste, if that hero gets picked, we'll talk about the item builds. You're big into that, but Willow has just, even from the 5 position, the damage output has looked tremendous.
I just feel that Pango is in a kind of hard spot to play. He is not a good position 4 hero. There are, I mean, if you compare him to a Sanking, to a Tusk, what they get you and what you get with the Pango is a totally different thing. Yeah, and also as an offlaner, he's not that strong of an offlaner. He's good at cutting waves and for a team fight.
Well, there you go. That is, it's interesting. This is a staple for them. The Fade Tusk, it is their most picked hero overall since 7.0, but they are only 1 and 8 in their last 9 games with the Fade Tusk. It's just the whole team is slumping of late.
Yeah, I love Lion as a kind of counter to a Dark Willow. You have a ground stun, so she can't run away. Tusk also with the snowball, you can use it on the creep, so she can't use her second ability and TP away. And there's the Treant Protector, so.
Yep. So both teams, presumably, unless we see something unexpected, showing both of the supports in the open, the 4-position Tree and 5 Willow, along with on the other side, presumably the 4-position Tusk and DDC on the line.
Yeah, Night Stalker's gonna go. That's their second vision hero, especially if they can get it with the Treant Protector. A lot of vision, a lot of sustain, active early on, and these supports, not as strong lane support as Lion. Once the first night falls, kind of vulnerable to Night Stalker rotations.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, we talked about these CIS squads kind of doubling down. We talked about Fly to Moon liking these double save compositions with like Tusk and OD. Vega Squadron often picking multiple vision heroes, which I think it allows them to engage from multiple angles to catch the enemy team off guard in a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We saw in multiple games where they had the Treant, teams just, they seemed unable to play against it. It was just almost crazy how much information Vega Squadron were able to get with the Treant's movements that it just seemed impossible to react to, especially if you're just not used to playing against the Treant Protector.
Yeah, and I think it catches you off guard. Number one, it makes a lot of sense with the aggro duel lanes being so big in the meta in the first place. And number two, I think that the nifty sort of planting the tree all over the place, kind of exploiting Nature's Guide, has caught a couple of teams off guard.
These heroes inside of Vega are already hard to kill. Like Lion is really weak against the Treant Protector. He provides a stun which removes 1 instance, and then his attack is really slow, so kind of hard to remove. They don't have any damage over time to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, if the Treant gets anywhere close to the line, it's like 3 punches and the line's pretty much dead. Especially in the lanes, it can be a little scary here for DDC's line.
Really like the Underlord pick here. Yeah, I think that's a hero that's had so much success both in DDC, both in DAC and at this tournament. Just a huge tempo controller. The Firestorm is one of the most mana-efficient nukes in the game. Affects Roshan, which is a little unbelievable with percentage-based damage, and just so excellent at slowing down the game, which is something I think VGJ, as you mentioned, Lacoste, need to do against Vega.
Yeah, I mean, Underlord is just too good to pick not to have it.
Yeah, he really. I think, for me, Underlord and Willow were the 2 heroes that I think are going to be very happy that there wasn't any hero changes this patch.
Yeah,
because these 2 heroes, they've got to be toned down. There's going to be something nerfed about these 2. You just can't let these heroes be this good. They're just too good at too many things in the game.
And this is the hero left on the table. Once the Night Stalker was out for Vega, you have to believe that they're going to be thinking about that Nature's Prophet for Blizzy. He is extremely aggressive. In fact, we have these automatic lane classifiers when you look at Dota Buff and Dat Dota. And a lot of the time, the Blizzy offlane Nature's Prophet gets classified as a roamer, because he spends so much time in the other lanes. And the other thing is, don't underestimate, this is also another source of vision. He'll use the Treants for vision along with the Treant Protector.
I mean, that's a great synergy between Nature's Prophet and Treant Protector. I mean, both are green.
There we go.
Green means go,
Summoning
right?
trees.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you joke, but, you know, getting the Sprout out, and we've seen, you know, Vega Squadron do the little trick with the branch and the punch.
Yep.
Once you get the Sprout out, you're going to get the trees for the punch as well, so absolutely that sort of synergy we might see come into play. Thunder, Sylar and Freezer's heroes, what are we going to get, Steve? PL coming through. We haven't, I feel like we actually haven't seen, have we seen much PL at all here?
No.
I don't remember seeing.
I don't know, was it
I
any
think
PL?
I think we've seen one game of PL.
Was there one game of PL?
I really like this as a turnaround for VGJ. Freeze and Sylar both historically have played it. A little bit tilted toward Freeze in that position.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is that you look at VGJ and they don't have much traditional lockdown. Right?
No.
Anytime you run Nature's Prophet at the 3 position, you start asking questions about, are you going to have enough initiation? Are you going to have enough hard lockdown? And heroes like PL become that more attractive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to need something on a mid lane that starts the fight. It's going to be really hard for them to start a fight. Or the way they can play this, they have Treant Protectors, so if they go on them, use the Treant's armor, Nature's Prophet TPs, and then you outnumber them.
Yep.
So, but still, you're going to have to start a fight somehow. Like, none of these heroes really provide until Treant Protector gets a Blink Dagger. Kind of hard to initiate a fight with him, just hitting from the invis, rooting people.
Yeah, and Gyro, you know, a lot of people still talk about Gyro as like a counter to PL. I don't agree with that. I think, yes, Gyro used to be a counter to PL a long time ago, but as long as PL can keep attacking, those illusions keep coming out, and you only have so many flat cannon shots.
I mean, that was when Gyro's flag cannon was 20 seconds cooldown. 30 seconds was all right. 40 seconds, a bit too long. But I guess the reason why they picked Gyro is he's one of the better heroes against the Underlord in the laning stage. Because he relies on magical damage. You just use homing missile and then you follow him and he's pretty much dead. You have a global presence, so it's going to be a tough lane for Underlord. But Underlord's not going to be alone. He's mostly paired up with the Tusk. That's the best combo. You can get Ice Shards plus Firestorm, then you use a Snowball. You can keep them in the Firestorm damage. And he provides a decent matchup against the Phantom Lancer with the Gyro. I still think they're going to need some more illusion clear because Treant and Dark Willow are pretty much single target. They don't provide anything. And Nature's Prophet is kind of a weak position 3 because he doesn't give you any kind of a stun, no lockdown. And it's not that strong in a lane, especially against the Phantom Lancer and the vulnerable to Tusk rotations, but he's going to have a Treant Protector probably behind him and to help him out with the armor or just with the rotations.
Yeah, I just think the vision game is going to be so important in this particular matchup. When you look at the zoning tools that both teams have, not much in the way of traditional disable, but when you look at shards and pit, as you were talking about on the side of VGJ, you look at brambles and the tree root on the side of Vega Squadron, vision sets up those abilities and lets you dictate the spacing of the fight. So I am very surprised by that pick. You think about it against the PL as the AoE damage and the silence, but Underlord creates so many problems. For Puck hates being rooted.
The Pit of Malice can be quite a nightmare to play around, but it's a little bit of extra control.
Puck is one of the better heroes against the Phantom Lancer because every time you use Coil, he can't get out. Even if he uses a Doppelganger, Coil snaps.
And that's a lot of damage now, even level 1.
So, good against the Tusk. And, I mean, they have a Lion, they have a Root from Underlord.
And they are back to the traditional roles. VGJ are going to go back to what got him here, play Freeze on the PL, put Sylar on his signature Lycan, one of his best heroes. He leads all time in professional Dota in wins on this hero. This is a scary VGJ.Thunder draft, guys.
I mean, it is, but I kind of like what Vega's doing here as well. You can't forget the fact they have got, I know it was the start and the end of the draft, they have got that Dark Willow Puck combo. And that is, that's pretty it's pretty broken.
It's time though. We gotta lay it on the line, guys. Owen, are you gonna do it? You picking Vega?
Oh, I'm going with Vega. I believe in the way that they play around the tree, and as I said, they've got Dark Willow and Puck, and more importantly, they've got Dark Willow. This hero does not lose games. They're gonna win the game.
Okay, Lacoste?
I'm not convinced by Nature's Prophet. I think they have really good heroes against him, and I don't think he's going to contribute much. Kind of weak heroes if they start to run at them. So VGJ.Thunder will need some time to build their lineup, 15-20 minutes, and then they will try to go, even though they're not that fast team. But
yeah.
VGJ.Thunder, I'd say.
Yeah, I got to believe in VGJ.Thunder, the absolute classic bread and butter lineup for them, with Sylar trying to improve his all-time record win total on Lycan. The panel is split. The casters are ready. Let's take you out, kicking off our final day of Star Ladder action we have for you in the casting desk. Here are Gods and Winter.
Thank you, Nahaz. Here on the casting desk, it is Playoff Sunday, Winter. Teams will be eliminated. Teams will be crowned champion. A lot will go down today on Sunday.
And yeah, this has been by far one of the closest championship Sundays we have. We have no idea who's going to win because all the teams here are really, really close to each other. Anybody can just play a little bit better today and just win the event.
Normally you go into the last day of a tournament with a favorite in mind, and it really feels like any of the 4 teams playing here today, VGJ.Thunder, Vega Squadron, Fnatic, as well as Optic, could walk away with the title. Anyone you ask seems to have a different opinion as to who that will be, who is favored to win it. We're going to find out our first finalist in this best of 3, but we are in just game 1, and it is VGJ.Thunder playing on the Radiant side with a draft that Nahaz said they kind of used to do a bit in some of the qualifiers. They're bringing back some old stuff that has worked fantastically well with the PL as well as the Lycan. Vega Squadron has gone with some of the newer stuff that's worked recently for them, the Treant Protector, the Dark Willow with the Puck, Nature's Prophet. A lot of aggression and early game coming out from Vega, it feels like.
Yep, but on the side of VGJ.Thunder, they have their signature Tusk. Teams rarely give away this hero to them because it's one of their really good heroes, best heroes. Lycan as well, Sylar is really, really proficient at it. I mean, we'll just have to see how this plays out. And they do have the Underlord as well on their side.
How important is it that Vega have a good early game laning stage with this kind of a lineup?
They have to. I think if they don't have a good laning phase, comes to mid game, team fight, taking towers. If they don't have a good league, I find it will be difficult for them to take towers because it's going to Underlord. And if you talk about mid to late game, PL, Underlord, Lycan, I think those heroes are really, really good against what Vega has right now, like the Gyro and the Prophet. PL is really good against the Dark Willow, really good against the Treant because you can just remove all the roots. You can dodge the homing missile.
Feels like a kind of forgotten carry over the last week or two with it just being picked up a whole lot less.
He's considered like a slow hero. And when the meta favors more like a fast-paced carries like Gyro, Tiny, it becomes really hard for PL to strive in those kind of environment. But with the new patch, maybe you can allow heroes that are slower to come back into the meta.
Bade going to get boinked on the head with a homing missile, going for this pull, and Yang going to help him out. These 2 heroes in the off lane securing the first wave of creeps for the Underlord. They do get dewarded on their pull camp here. We'll see what Fade can do as far as a nice Ice Shards, blocking Palantimos in, forcing him to tango out of that tree. Trying to do as much damage as possible as he takes that creep wave behind the tower. So kind of equally doing the same thing with his creep wave up here.
So it's going to be Underlord plus Tusk. This should be fairly straightforward for them. I think the Underlord will be able to get a lot of farm here.
Yep.
And Underlord is really good against their heroes, in particular the Gyro and the Prophet. Not so much in the lane because you could still die to the Rocket Barrage, but in the game itself you build a pipe, you have the Aura to deal with the Flat Cannon, and Gyro builds mostly stats items. Yeah. So your damage gets reduced a lot by Underlord.
That glyph, he just glyphed so he missed a CS, I'm pretty sure. I'm just shocked you're saying.
Why not?
Yeah.
The players should actually use the glyph more in the early phases.
Particularly in a range creep, I feel.
Yeah, you don't really need it anyway until later, so why not just use it one time to help out the laning phase?
Tilt your mid, and Sylar was actually crushing mid. This Lycan versus Puck matchup, would you say it's a bit Lycan favorite? I mean, he's got plenty of health regen, Stout Ship plus Quelling Blade, he lasted very well until Puck gets a few levels. Do you think this is how this lane should go down?
Yeah, Lycan's a very good laner. He can't really kill you, but because he has a lot of regen, he has a lot of damage, he has very high base damage. So if you have no kill threat on the Lycan, then you'll be losing in terms of last hit. And here we see Thunder here striking first blood with Lion and PL killing the Prophet in the lane.
Yes, that's where there is kill threat. This Lion PL against 2 fairly squishy offlaners. Radiant Courier gets sniped by the Nature's Prophet. Respawns, TP's in, catches that Courier on the way back. Cheeky little play coming out from him. Sylar did get his Gloves of Haste.
They definitely needed that. All their lanes are not going so well.
Yep.
Like Lycan is free farming mid, Underlord is having an okay time top, so they really needed that Courier kill after the Prophet gave up first blood.
Okay, well, we'll see how Nature's Prophet can look to do back in this bottom lane. Definitely need to be careful about the aggression from the Lion PL, showing they've got some good kill potential on those two.
Yep. On the other hand, the Prophet can also like move to another lane to get kills once you have more levels on the gyro.
Yes. Do you think that's what you should be looking to do?
Yep. Top lane.
Zayat's completely
This is
trapped
not what he should be looking to do here in the lane.
No detection, it looks like, as he's going to heal himself back up, has the Tengu regen, and even gets given another one. Not sure they can really kill Yang here. He's being
This is
zoned out. Zayat attacks him. He may actually die for this. I'm not sure if that was the play, my friend. The Ice Shards not going to entirely block him in, but the right clicks will be enough. Yang finds the kill. Perhaps thinking Fade had left.
I think Fade actually managed to mislead him because he walked back towards the tower, then he turned left. I don't think he saw that, and he thinks that the Tusk went back to base or went somewhere else. So he thought the Underlord was alone. That's why that sequence of events seems really, really strange.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those plays where you look at it and I'm sure, you know, our chat's like, oh, what a bad misplay from Tree.
Fog
just
of
feeding
war, man.
Yeah, but yes, exactly. From our perspective, we see everything, but from the player's perspective, he must have thought he was falling back, maybe going for the bounty rune or something.
Yeah.
And
that was really, really good play there by Fate. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it was just well done there by him.
Back in the mid lane, Puck has evened up the CS a bit more, having points in his nukes, making it a bit easier, the double null. Lane starts to become a bit more, maybe not Puck favored, but a bit more even as Puck gets those levels. Not to mention the Courier snipe, preventing Sylar from bringing out any additional items for himself.
Yep, right now Vega still in a position where they want to speed up the pace of the game.
And a Snowball going to help keep Yang alive for a little bit longer here, but the Dark Willow gets the Shadow Realm hit. DDC's rotated in, and this Willow should be all but dead. Committing very hard for that dive. Nature's Prophet TP's in, but there's no follow-up roots.
This is really, really bad for them. They brought 4 heroes here, but one reaction from DDC managed to, you know, not only save his team, but gets a return kill there.
Yep. VGJ showing they can utilize the tankiness of this Underlord to great effect. Not really a hero that Yang actually favors that much typically, but definitely a hero that all teams are favoring, the Underlord.
I can tell you, if you're offlaner, you have to play Underlord now.
It is the hero of the patch right now for offlaners, perhaps.
Yep, this hero just does so much for your team, and you just buy all the team items, and you have this kind of like frontline hero which is extremely tanky. You do Roshan. There's like so many things that he provides for your team. Just a high value pick here overall.
He jungles, as we're seeing.
Sorry?
He jungles.
Yeah, he does everything. Except for maybe, you know, stunning and killing heroes, because he doesn't really have a reliable disable.
See Yang rooted up with the TP in from the Nature's Prophet. There's going to be a Curse Crown to stun him up. This will be a kill.
Yep, this is very, very important for Vega. They have to keep doing this. Either the Trian find someone, Prophet TPs in maybe with +1, or the Dark Willow searches for heroes around the map. They need to keep the ball rolling. If the game goes for a passive farming game, then it will be really bad for them. Oh, Sentry being placed. Zayak here. No more cheeky plays.
No chance of an escape. Fate doesn't even use the Ice Shards. Good control there, and we'll see the bottom rune taken by Undershock. He bottles that one up, and he may be able to punish this. He has got the Dream Coil. He's going to throw it out to start things off.
Coming in?
DDC looking for Impale. Doesn't want to break the coil. Waiting for the last possible second to get out of this one. Still fairly tanky. I'm not sure the Puck can really commit for this one. Fade running forward as well, and it looks like Undershock will be forced back. Nice phase shift will dodge some of the nukes flying out. Freeze still wants to commit to this one. The Snowball coming through as well. Undershock needs to be careful. He's got another orb now, getting back to his shrine. That's going to get him back to safety as well as some heals, so he can kind of re-enter this fight if he wants to.
I think Prophet's TP was on cooldown. The Puck kind of expected there to be a +1.
Yes.
But he didn't have backup from his team immediately, so couldn't finish off the kill.
Fade has Arcane Boots already. Level 2 with Arcane Boots. That always feels funny when you see these supports just have a level 2, but already having a pretty big early game item.
Earthshaker, probably the one that feels the best when you have that Arcane Boots.
Yep. He's back top now, looking to ensure what is now the Lycan's lane goes well. They're actually sending the Lycan top. What do you make of this decision?
Gyro, he's in trouble.
Yep. Looking for this kill. The pucks keep eating as well. There's a homing missile. I'm not sure that's going to be enough to save Palantimos. The one charges will keep him alive a little bit longer. The shockwave coming out. Silas helm with the Dominator early on, proving to be fantastic, as Undershock is in all sorts of trouble as well. Another, Ice Shard's not going to be enough to kill him off. He orbs, jaunts back into the fight. He gets taken out by Sylar. Not sure about the decision to go back in. He really wants this kill on Sylar. He's slow, but the Snowball going to buy him some time as well. The Dark Rift coming as well. Sylar back into the tree. Should be out now, as the TP in from Willow is not going to come fast enough to punish.
What a play there by Sylar. This is just his best hero, and that is why.
He is the Lycan man, at least of China. As Fade getting brought low. One more attack from the Prophet will bring him down. As VGJ commit a lot of heroes top, but this is great for them because they've got PL free farming away in a lane on the other side of the map. We'll see if Vega can do anything to punish it. They brought Gyro back in. They really want to get some more kills here with the call down. They've probably got Yang here. The Curse Crown going to proc in just a second. One or two more right clicks. It's going to be enough damage. And Palantimos on the Gyro getting credited the kill. As Lion, DDC, has to get away from the Phase Boots Nature's Prophet. Will do so. As once again, Fade back in. A lot of aggression here in the early game.
Yep, this is why Sylar is really good on Lycan, and the heroes that you want to rely on, like a tempo. Like, he's very good at catching when he should be moving, and that was like a perfect move for him. Like, he almost got the Gyro. He killed another hero instead, but like this is like the pressure you want to have when you're playing Lycan.
Not just Sylar being a tempo controller. Freeze is like, yeah, I'm done farming. I'm going to rotate mid and gank a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and meanwhile he already secured the tier 1 at bottom. Yeah. So VGJ.Thunder here, firing all cylinders.
Yeah, it's great when you've got both carries kind of online and active in at least a small sense here. The PL may be looking to keep farming a bit, deciding bottom lane is not the safest place to be, but Freeze rotating, getting kills. Same for Sylar's Lycan, and towers are being pressured all across the map. Mid down to half health, top lane also low. They have got the living arm to try and heal these back up, but the great thing about the Lycan is that you can just fully commit and bring down these towers. Plenty of instances of damage to quickly break through that living armor and make sure buildings actually go down.
So with all the tower ones removed, Roshan becomes like a increasingly worrying factor for Vega. Yes. They have to be able to scout it. I mean, they have good heroes to scout it, like Prophet, the Park, and even the Treant could be just like placing wards around there or just like scouting around that area, because that point is going to be the next big objective for VGJ.Thunder if they can actually secure the Rosh in a good time. Yep.
Perhaps some slight good news is that these towers give a little bit less gold than they used to, so you don't snowball quite as hard. But it's still a good chunk of gold. I mean, it's map control. That's the big thing here.
Yeah.
Zayat will be kept alive by the Shrine here as Lycan was looking to chase him down. Didn't commit the shapeshift for it. Probably not really of interest for just a Treant Protector.
You know, it's 20 gold per player for the tower ones.
20?
I mean, in total, if you take all the towers, you have like a reduced 1.5. I mean, 1.5k is like for the whole team.
Yeah,
the 6 towers, but we'll see like how it plays out. They have the Treant healing up the mid tier 1 at the moment. Yep. And Freeze is going for fast diffusal build, so he's going to be able to fight fairly well, but
takes a lot of damage here.
Here comes the combo.
Oh, the Terrorize going to break the coil, sets up the kill, and then done. Fade has a snowball. He's going to be snowballing in just a second here. Goes right into the middle of 3 heroes. Vega have just run a train through VGJ.Thunder. The root going to keep Sylar in place as well. The Lycan in the shapeshift. He's still got the movement speed after the root wears off. He's trying to get out of there. Runs back towards Yang, who is Dark Rifting out. Yang was looking for the kill on Undershock. Not sure he even needs to Dark Rift, but he will still escape. As Sylar left on his own, will get stunned up.
Initiation by Vega there. With the Dark Willow Park combination we mentioned earlier, just destroying VGJ.Thunder. The Tusk and the PL just got caught.
That PL has to be very careful about how he uses his doppelganger escape, because he got caught with his pants down not having that. Very well done indeed.
Yeah, they have to be careful of not letting those combinations catch them off guard too many times. Because Vega Squadron, they have a very high tempo lineup. They can play really, really quickly around their heroes. There's not much like long cooldown spells. Everything is fairly short cooldown. They should have it most of the time to take a fight. So if you let them win a couple more fights like this, you're going to lose map control, and that could be really, really big catastrophe for the Lycan. He loses out on a Roshan.
DDC looking for a solo kill. Didn't find it and pays for it with his life and fades. As Vega were smoked up looking for a movement there, but then they were like, oh, we're smoked up looking to gank a core. Well, these heroes are diving out tower. We better at least punish them. Not the core kills they were perhaps looking for, but it's kills nonetheless. We talked a bit about, you feel Vega, they want to be having the better early game and not falling behind with a PL and a Lycan farming. They haven't really won the early game. Is this still an okay position for them to be in?
Not the best, but still reasonable, because they didn't really have a perfect laning phase. The lanes didn't go that well for them. They have to keep like the pace going up on the game, like get pickoffs with the Treant. He wants to do a lot of like scouting, give them the vision, give them the information, get a kill, get a tower.
Trying to bait out a doppelganger, and he will eventually go for it once he's near enough to his tower. TP's being cancelled there.
So the Treant is closing in on his medallion. Prophet has the drums. Let's see.
Not exactly a offlaner that's going to scale. I mean, Prophet kind of scales, but doesn't really offer a whole lot of team fight for Vega.
You're not going to scale if you die.
Yes, that too. They're going to look to Dark Rift out preemptively, knowing that there is oh my gosh, the Lion, he gets left behind, the Terrorize. They couldn't stick to the buddy-buddy system. You got to hold hands as you cross the road. But Vega managed to sandwich themselves between the two with a nice Terrorize and pick up the DDC Lion kill.
I thought he might have been able to join the Uber. He actually had the fear like timed out. Like he had like a split-second decision to just walk back into the Uber range.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe a slight misplay there by DDC. He thought he was like, gave up on life. I'm done.
Yeah. This is like, this Terrorize is, we're screwed, but...
That is what Dark Willow does to you. You give up. When you see the ultimate, you give up. You know you're dead.
Well, we'll see the map continue to be split by the VGJ side. PL playing the top lane, Silo playing mid, Necro Book 1 online. There's be more coming soon. That sentry... I mean, some info as to the tree protector's whereabouts. He does see him. He actually pushed him into the trees here. They're going to see him in just a sec with the sigil, and he's completely trapped. No Quelling Blade, no way out. I think Zayas is just done for here. If VGJ want to commit to it, they're not going to, because here comes the cavalry. Vega making a move in on. They've already lost the tier 1 tower here. The damage, not really all that much. Yang just tanking it all on the Underlord in the front lines. The cooldown from Palantimos being shrugged off by him. He gets chased down by the Lycan. They've taken out the puck as well. Overgrowth used entirely defensively as Freeze just going to doppelganger forward, and out of that Overgrowth will bring down the Treant Protector. Gets himself a double kill. And Yang in the front lines just blocking all of that Gyrocopter damage. The Pipe Rush proving to be fantastic against Cold Out.
They just got Underlord. The Pipe block all the magic damage coming from the puck and the Gyro spells. And then the Atrophy Horror, his flat cannons felt like it was just merely giving them a soft massage.
You talk about like Underlord and items, like I remember those game against the Terrorblade, you're like, man, should have got Crimson first, shouldn't have got this Pipe. This though feels like the game to rush a Pipe against the Gyrocopter puck. It's
very important to understand which item, like which defensive item is the first item that you should go for in every game, and the sequence as well. Like some games you might need a few things, like a Pipe, a Crimson Guard, but you have to know which one is more important than the other, and you have to get that first item in a first crucial fight like this, and it turns the tide.
Even skipping the Helm of the Dominator, which has been the common build,
they've
got one. Yeah,
they already have one.
They have one on Lycan, so it's like, well, I can rush this Pipe and get it even sooner. You don't normally expect a Pipe at 15 minutes in. That's incredibly early to have a Pipe, and that's a huge amount of damage in a team fight this early on being blocked. The puck, the Gyrocopter, those nukes just being completely negated by it.
So right now for VGJ.Thunder, they just won a really huge fight. Like I said, Roshan would still be their next key objective before they try to push forward with their advantage. If they could actually secure that, that would be great for them. And Vega, they have to constantly scout with either the puck, the Treants from the Nature's Prophet, or Zayak on the Treant actually running around scouting for information.
Yep.
They're just like running out of like damage right now. They have to get more items on the Gyro. Oh, good solo kill there. Just Dark Willow things, killing a fellow support.
A hero not short of damage, that's for sure. PL will weave his way through the maze, comes out of it.
TP? Oh, he doesn't have a TP.
Doesn't have a TP. That Terrorize will buy him some time, but will not buy him his life. Slayer gives himself to Freeze.
Did he actually just... Even the wall, the wall was on a low ground. They were like clicking on him all the time. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it was kind of like desperate. I'm dead. You know, I'm just gonna place the ward.
But as you said, the normal scenario there is you're clicking him constantly because you know if you're a PL, you don't need to have your own hero click there. You're fine. Right click him and then hands off the keyboard.
Oh, that's what you do.
Oh, wow,
I
two
see.
quick D wards in a row. Radiant Vision looking far superior right now. Wards in the 2 jungles of the Dire team
Yep,
and wards around Roshan, which will help get them Roshan. They also just D-warded this, so with the Necrobook, this should be...
Where's the Underlord? Okay, he's on his way.
Yep.
He is
Gets
the man of
scouted.
the moment for the Roshan.
He's perhaps coming a little bit later, but can Vega contest this one? Here comes the Firestorm. Perhaps not there soon enough for them. Puck can't really... Oh, he is going to join in. The Roche getting low. Can he get this with the Terrorize? The Roche Aegis on the ground. Who's going to get it? Puck
Oh
dies,
my
so
God.
he gets no chance to pick it
I mean,
up.
they were so calm. They didn't even like rush to pick up the Aegis. They realized the puck actually jumped too far forward, not
Yes.
next to the Aegis. So stun him, kill him, and they were like kind of deciding, oh, PL take the Aegis? No. Leica take the Aegis? No. PL takes the Aegis.
Leaving it on the ground. There was a tier 1 tower claimed by the Prophet bottom, but if you're resorting to a split push on Prophet, you're in bad shape here against a
Split
lineup
pushing
with
ain't
Underlord.
Gonna work this game because there's an Underlord. Underlord can just defend the lanes, use his ultimate to join his team, and he's gonna build a mech into Greaves. Greaves is also really good this game because of all the stuff that you can dispel, the Trian, the Curse Crown,
Yep.
the Silence from Puck. Like, there's so many things that you could be used for.
There's the mech.
Mech,
Complete.
maybe Greaves or Crimson Guard later, maybe a Lotus even after. Underlord is just gonna have all those items because of how well they are like playing the game right now as a team. They're getting a lot of objectives. They need more gold for everyone. They're farming the map efficiently.
Doesn't feel like Vega's ever going to have enough damage in a team fight, with the gyro being...
Yeah, the Dark Wheeler only
completely
managed
reduced.
to kill the Lion because Lion was alone. He was not beside the Underlord. You know, if you're beside the Underlord, he has the aura, you have the magic resist, then you have the barrier from the pipe.
When
You're
in a
not
team fight,
killing the
there's,
supports.
you know, there's summons and everything everywhere as well. Like, you can't really run in as Dark Willow. You're running in this PL, going to look to finish off
Okay.
Blizzy, will do so.
I'm afraid this game is like getting out of hand for Vega Squadron.
Yes, it
Like,
feels that way.
This PL pick, like I mentioned again and again, it's really, really good against all the heroes that Vega have because of how he can just remove a lot of their spells, the debuffs that they place on him with their lineup, and he's just a hero that's really, really difficult to kill.
They're
for
going
the
high
Vega
ground,
side.
Winter. The PL's not even there. He just kills someone top, he TP's mid, and his team's like, we don't need you, Freeze. May have carried us in a game or two yesterday, but this game, we will carry you, say the rest of VGJ, as they look to break the high ground. Great hit of Malice. Ice Shot's going to block Slayer in as well. The Firestorm continuing to do good damage here.
They have to be careful though. If you push a tower and you don't get it, you're wasting time because it's a Trian.
Yes, the damage there. Oh, they get the D-Ward. Oh, they can. Oh, they cancel the Dark Rip, but the
I think
creep
the
was
creep
scattered.
died. Yeah, the creep died.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a mind game where it's like, oh, we're going to Dark Rift under this ward and then D-Ward it and then cancel it. But the creep dies.
Oh,
so.
you remind me of that move that Newbie did before, where I remember KP did a Dark Rift, but he only brought like one hero back, and the other, like his team, they had 4 heroes in a lane.
Yes.
He Dark Rift in Vision, but he only brought one hero back. Enemy team, oh, guys, time to farm, you know, it's safe, but there's like 2 heroes camping there.
Yep. That's nicely played. It's perhaps the mind game they're going for here on VGJ as they re-enter the fight at bottom lane. The Terrorize going to come. Palantimos kept alive a little bit longer. The Finger Impale getting him down even lower. Is there any further damage here? DDC's like, somebody finish off this Gyrocopter. He mana drains. That's not going to hurt him. It will slow him down a little bit. Undershock in the trees. Needs an escape. As he got it with the Orb and the Jaunt further
Oh
down.
my
He's
God,
still
he is
trapped.
in
He's got no
trouble.
blink. Pit of Malice will await him. He gets rooted instantly. And the damage is going to come from Sylar and DDC. They're going to get the Trine as well.
This is why Puck is not great against Underlord. The pit, the root is just such a huge problem for Puck because you can't really get away. You always get caught in the...
There's a PL in the game, by the way, Winter. They're playing, you know, they're doing all these fights and all of this.
This game is over. This game is
4v5.
over.
Can they finish off the tower? Against the tree, you really need to make sure you do. They go charging in, looking for the Gyrocopter. Buybacks come in from both Puck and Tree and Protector, looking to hold on just a little bit longer, but they lose Gyro as well as the tier 3 tower. That one not coming back to life. PL finally deciding to make his rotation and movement from top, says, okay, it's time to party. I've got the Aegis. Let's break high ground. Let's take this fight. Brings down Slayer to start things off. Looking for more as they will go for the melee barracks here. Zions can just sit and watch from the trees as Puck will look to do some damage. He jaunts in, he blinks out, trying to take out some of those creep waves here, but they're already pinging the mid lane. knowing that creeps are, I believe, inside the base thanks to the bottom lane. Yeah, there's still a Radiant creep there. So they can go for the second lane of Rax, and the Nature's Prophet creep skipping is going to be futile at this point as VGJ look to seal the deal.
What a show by VGJ.Thunder, silencing the crowd here, giving Vega a beatdown.
Yeah, this is the VGJ we thought would show up here in Kiev, but we didn't see them on day one so much. But they have definitely improved throughout the course of this event.
Jet lag on day one.
Yep. Jet lag, perhaps the cause there, who knows? Or it just took him some adjusting, because they, have had some shakiness against the CIS teams. It was Fly to Moon who they initially dropped a game to in their opening match. See Puck go in, looking to bring down a Lion. Not the biggest of kills here. The Doppelganger going to dodge some of the damage coming as well. Lion saying, I'm just going to buy back for this one. This feels like a fight I want to be in. Great snowball forward. As they look to charge through onto the gyrocopter, they'll punch Zayats into the air.
Yep, that's a dieback.
And Syla, BKB was used for that fight, but he's happy to keep on chasing, try and bring down Slayer. Will force out the Shadow Realm. Blizzy's just like, get me out of this game. I'm bottom. Can I teleport into game 2, please?
I mean, it's just difficult, you know. I don't even think that they played badly this game. It's more like there were a lot of limitations with the strategies that they are choosing, and Vega just, you know, there's too many things that they have to do well, you know, to win the game.
Yeah.
And
like
they had very little room for error.
Yeah, that's what we've seen from Vega this whole tournament is they look good from start to finish. They dropped one game against SG. Even that game, they didn't look awful. Strategically and how they play Dota is very sound, but sometimes, like you say, their strategies, they maybe need to obviously not put themselves at a deficit in terms of the draft and their ways to win the game. And
also, you have to understand sometimes that maybe the strats that you think are working because you're not playing against the better teams yet. That's why you feel like it's still, you think it's a idea that could work, but as you can see here in this game, the Triumph pick, which was really successful in their previous games, you know, we saw this Triumph being countered so heavily by the picks of VGJ.Thunder, and they have this Puck and Gyro, which are both, and the Triumph as well, and the Prophet. It's all countered by the Underlord. It was just like a game where if they don't really run over in the laning phase itself, you come to this mid game with this pipe on Underlord, the Atrophy Aura, and PL, you know, being a factor or non-factor in the game. They're just getting run over by Thunder. They don't have enough damage to kill anyone. Strange to say that, yeah, when you have a Dark Wheeler in the team.
I mean, it's damage out of your 5 position and not a hero that can just run in and expect to get all of his spells off. Particularly the Bedlam. I'm gonna ulti up top. It looks like this is more just to deal with the creep waves. Yep.
No quarter being given.
Yep.
We defend every tower. We are in the lead. You are not getting any trades at all.
They're in no rush on the VGJ side. They're waiting next roach. Oh, DDC.
Here comes the backup.
Oh my god. Yang just saved his life for the time being. DDC will go with Impale as well. One more right click's needed. They're not even going to get it. DDC lives. Yang playing the medic.
I mean, you talk about the buddy-buddy system. This is the true buddy-buddy system right there.
He wasn't there for him last time. He abandoned him his time is need, but this time he's
the first to arrive.
Yeah, first to arrive. He's like, I'm sorry, bro. I should never have left you.
Please forgive me.
And to the high ground. It's Underlord charging forward first, not even the Lycan. As this tower has been healed back up thanks to the Triad, but the question is still, how do you stop it going back down? And I don't know if there's a clear answer to that.
That's one way to stop it for 5 seconds.
And PL managed to dodge that one as Freeze sits there idly for a second before he decides, okay, yeah, we will take this Rax. And they will complete the full mid lane here. Nature's Prophet again, skipping the wave behind the mid lane. That's not going to really amount to too much as they engage in the mid. Looking to go on the Treant Protector, who does keep himself alive for a little bit longer. The Sprout will actually help him out a bit. Charging back to the fountain is Palantimos, who will just get back in time. Unfortunately for Blizzy, not so lucky as he goes down. And near the fountain is the VGJ side, having some fun as they seal the deal here in game number 1 of this best of 3. Nothing Vega can do except type 4 letters. GG, well played. Vega defeated.
Yep, just like an outdraft, very difficult for them to win the game. I mean, it is possible if they somehow can run over the laning phase. You know, they do have the heroes to do really well in the lanes, but just didn't work out because Thunder plays really good lanes. They had the Lycan mid, which I think caught them by surprise. Lycan against Puck. PL went safely in with the Lion, totally destroying the Prophet. Because things would be different if Lycan was against the Prophet and PL were against the Puck. So I think that adjustment was really key and influential for VGJ's Thunder's success in the early game. And just underlord things after that.
Yeah, I mean, Siler, as they won, just gave like a big yawn, like, oh, we're just waking up. This is going to be a good day for us. You know, if we get through this, it's still a best of 5. For Vega, they're going to be saying, you know, where was the damage? Like, draft-wise, they need something more, particularly against the Underlord. Maybe a hero they need to take out of the pool in the next game, or at least have better solutions for, because between the Gyro, the Puck, it just felt like once he got that fast pipe, there was nothing they could do.
Yeah, they have to be careful, or maybe just ban the Underlord right away in the first phase. I think a lot of teams have already been using this approach. We were kind of surprised by the lack of Underlords during the first 2 days during the group games, but I think teams are starting to remember, oh, Underlord is actually a legit hero or OP hero, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it is China's VGJ.Thunder taking down the CIS Hope Vega Squadron here in Game 1, but we've got a Game 2 coming your way.
4 years ago, Siler played Lycan as a member of Vici Gaming at the International 2014, went 8-0 in 14 minutes and 30 seconds to beat Alliance in the shortest match ever at TI, and today he gets his 67th career win on the hero. Tops all time, 67 and 38 now, as Vici Gaming Thunder take care of business in Game 1. Bringing back our panel here of Lacoste and OD Pixel. Lacoste, I think we, from early in the draft, sensed a little bit of trouble on the side of Vega Squadron. What was it that you think created so many problems for the CIS team?
The lineup was really squishy to start with. You have a Nature's Prophet, the hero that doesn't like that people get on top of him, and they have perfect heroes for him. Lycan, against him, I mean, Lycan, you have a Phantom Lancer, you have a Treant who is good, but also doesn't like when you run at him. Dark Willow as well, Puck, these are all squishy heroes, and once Underlord gets the pipe, he mitigates pretty much everything you have. Everything you have is magical damage. Gyro is good at the laning stage, but the top lane went well for them. I think VGJ.Thunder pretty much won all their 3 lanes, and once you win 3 lanes, there's barely a comeback.
Yeah, it was the Underlord, you know, really. It really is. As Lacoste was saying, he's getting this pipe at 15 minutes. He's this beast in lane that was sort of being backed up by support rotations as well from VGJ.Thunder. So that suddenly you have, as you were saying at the start, you have this Nature's Prophet on Vega Squadron that wants to be incredibly active, but we saw he TPs up to the top lane. He can barely even touch this Underlord. It's this just offlaner, this core hero that he can't do anything about with these early rotations. Mid lane as well, you know, Sylar, he had a beast of a time on his CS. He was at the start just charging ahead of Undershock's Puck. Sure, the Puck managed to catch up a little bit, but again, this Lycan was already at a point where he's getting this early timing on the helm. He had this incredible amount of regen, of course, being in Lycan. You can't really gank that lane as a Nature's Prophet. So you've got this Prophet that can't achieve anything other than just trying to apply the split push. But as we saw, you know, 20 minutes in, that split push is never going to be anywhere near the sort of same push that VGJ.Thunder can get together as a team, as a unit. And, I mean, they just ran over Vega Squadron that game.
Yeah, there were a few bright spots that we're going to get into the highlights here pretty soon. There was a nice fight mid that Vega Squadron executed early on. But yeah, the 2 things that struck me about the laning phase, one was that the Treant Protector, which we've seen used so aggressively by Vega in so many games, was pretty much pinned up in the top lane trying to deal with that Underlord Tusk combo. And then Sylar in the mid lane, he was he went Gloves of Haste first. He didn't even buy the Ring of Regen for his Dom till he had the item finished. He was just winning, and he felt so safe in that mid lane.
Yeah, he was so ahead. This is a rotation from Sylar on the top lane just to secure a couple of the kills, and after that they got the tower. Yes, they have Treant Protector, which is like ultimate split push counter hero, and they have a good pick-off if you look at it. Like, you have a Treant, you have Puck Willow, which are mobile heroes, TP from Nature's Prophet. This is a good combo that they used.
This was like the bright spot of the game, the showing off the Dream Coil Terrorize combination, you know, one-upping perhaps Mineski's trademark Venge Puck strat, but it was pretty much the lone bright spot of the game. And even now, Sylar coming in at the back end, cleaning up.
And they just can't control this Lycan. As usual, they have these amazing ultimates, but that's pretty much it. You know, as we were saying in the draft, other than those ults, other than that sort of combo, the lockdown isn't quite there from Vega Squadron's lineup, and we saw that in many fights. As we see once again, sort of the two favourable trades they managed to find were down to the fact they had the Dream Cores, they had the Terrorize.
Yeah, and I think the other thing was we talked about the Treant Protector being pinned to the top lane. As the game went on, I thought Vici, they had watched some replays here, and they did an excellent job anticipating Zayat's movements around the map. You saw him get caught with vision near the Dire bottom shrine when he was trying to set up some move onto the bottom lane. It just they really knew how Vega was going to use this Treant Protector. There was a reason that they didn't feel that they needed to ban it.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time when VGJ.Thunder's lineup is going to come online. You have this Helm of the Dominator, Necro Book 3, you got a Helm, and you have Pipe and full Guardian Greaves actually on this ultimate beast. Like they can split the map with the Nature's Prophet, with the Gyro, but once they go as 5, then right on the back of this ultimate beast, you want to go as 5 called Underlord, that there's nothing they can do about it. The damage mitigation from physical and magical aspect is just way too much to deal with.
And we worried a lot about the lack of lockdown for the PL in the draft, but you saw the last couple of fights, they didn't even need the PL. They took fights 4v5.
Freeze was elsewhere. I mean, Freeze was ready to sort of carry the game if it went super late. He was always going to be that sort of fallback that they could have, but I mean, it was sort of about the 20 minutes, the last 5 minutes, he did sort of decide to jump in and get stuck in for the action. But as you're right, this very much was a game where so much was done with just the sort of the pressure of the other 4 heroes of VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, and you can see here, I mean, Vega did make some moves, and they scored big in a couple of these engagements, as they do have 3 out of the top 5 in hero damage. But when they finally grouped up and when the engagements started being the true 5v5 tower push contests, as you can see, when it comes to tower damage, which in the end is what really matters, it's not even close.
No, not at all. I think, you know, sure, as you said, some of the hero damage was high, but the fact of the matter is so much that was being mitigated. You know, it was getting done to sort of these lineups where the Underlord was there with the saves each and every time. And Freeze with the MVP. I mean, he had a pretty chill game, as we said. You know, they definitely made the space for him.
Pretty chill game. Wow. You know. You're ready for fatherhood, Owen.
Oh.
Freeze with the pretty chill game. I like that. I like that.
There we go. There we go. But they made him the space, and he didn't mess it up, and he joined the party at the end of it all to close the game up very nicely, Freeze.
Yeah, and I think it's always a good feeling when you're playing with what you feel like is that late game insurance. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup of Vega does not scale well into the late game. Even if this game dragged somehow past 50 minutes, I still don't think they would win the game. Just a weak lineup.
I just have to agree. I mean, we all know that Vega can do some good things, and we all know that they can run these aggressive heroes, but when a team like Vici Gaming comes in and they have the answer for that early game aggression, you have to adjust. And we're going to see whether they can make that adjustment coming into game 2, as we may be having a little problem with our screen there. Yeah, I think that the CIS squad, they are the last one remaining. We did have 3 CIS teams in the top 6. We lost 2 of them in the final 2 series tomorrow. Vega, the hometown favorites, still remaining, but they're going to be up against it here in game 2. Looking ahead to that draft, any adjustments you guys can point to?
Well, I like their draft in day number 1 and day 2, but it seems like VGJ.Thunder came prepared, and they knew that they're gonna pick, kind of baited them into the draft that they wanted.
Yeah, I think the bans were really on point from VGJ.Thunder that first round, sort of getting the way these sort of key heroes that we know Vega Squadron loves to play around, like specifically taking away heroes like the Night Stalker, because they're sort of maybe baiting Vega into this sort of draft where they do pick the Nature's Prophet, a hero that, you know, they're looking back on it, the lineup of VGJ.Thunders was more than ready to play against. This Prophet offered no sort of pressure, no sort of threat to the play style that VGJ.Thunder were looking to commit with in this 25-minute victory.
All right, guys. Well, we are having a slight technical problem with the screen here behind us, so we're going to transition you right from here out to a break. We will be back in 5 minutes' time with Game 2 as Vega Squadron, the lone remaining hopes of the CIS home crowd, try to stay alive in StarLadder against VG Gaming Thunder.